Close your eyes and let your mind descend 4,000 meters into the frigid depths of the Atlantic Ocean. In that eternal darkness, the hiss of high minus pressure steam and the rhythmic hammer minus on minus steel echoes of a century ago seem to linger still. A beam of light sweeps across, piercing the rusted hull of the Titanic to reveal colossal metal structures, 3 stories tall, lying silent like sleeping giants. This is the heart of a legend. There is a startling paradox to propel a 40-6,000 ton floating city across the ocean at 20-3 knots. Engineers did not rely on modern jet propulsion, but placed their absolute faith in a purely Victorian technology steam. It is difficult to fathom how these crude, massive, and heavy steel pistons could coordinate with such rhythmic precision to generate a staggering 50,000 horsepower. Yet, behind this grandeur lay a life minus, or minus death equation, for the leading engineers of the era. How could man imprison and domesticate the brutal power of extreme temperature and pressure, forcing them to serve a transoceanic journey without detonating the entire ship from within? The answer lies deep within the labyrinth of pipes and roaring combustion chambers, where the boundary between magnificence and disaster was separated only by a single breath of steam. Welcome back to our journey exploring history's greatest engineering marvels. In our previous chapter, we admired the magnificent exterior of the Titanic, but to truly understand the force that propelled this thousands ton steel leviathan across the ocean, we must descend into its heart. Imagine yourself standing at the very bottom of the engine room, where dry statistics transform into overwhelming, colossal entities. Each of the Titanic's steam engines rose 12 meters high, equivalent to a towering 4-story building. Beneath your feet, the solid steel crankshaft weighed 118 tons, a mass comparable to a modern Boeing 787 Dreamliner. To sustain the respiration of this great machine, firemen worked relentlessly to feed it 600 tons of coal every day. That massive volume of fuel was enough to fill a standard Olympic swimming pool in just 40-8 hours. Yet, behind these gargantuan figures lay more than just a display of size. In the early years of the 20th century, the race across the Atlantic was not merely a competition of crystal sets or opulent ballrooms. It was, in fact, a fierce battle of thermodynamic efficiency between maritime empires. Every moving piston and every pound of steam generated served as a testament to the pinnacle of human intellect in the quest to conquer nature and master speed upon the vast seas. Close your eyes and imagine standing before a towering wall of steel, a mobile fortress in the heart of the ocean. To understand the grandeur of the Titanic, we must begin with its very flesh and bone. Enveloping the massive hull are over 2,000 giant steel plates, bound tightly by 3 million hand-forged iron and steel rivets. Yet, it is here that a grim secret was hidden by time. The steel plates of the early 20th century, while robust, contained high levels of sulfur, rendering them as brittle as glass when faced with the bone-chilling cold of the North Atlantic current. Instead of bending upon impact, that hull shattered, carving a path for destiny to flood in. Crossing through that cold shell, we venture deep into the heart of the ship, where the darkness is dispelled by glowing red embers and the roar of machinery. Take a deep breath to feel the heat radiating from 20-9 massive boilers, each as tall as a 2-story house. These were the lungs of the Titanic, operating on a unique fire-tick mechanism. Inside these steel monoliths, roaring flames pass through small tubes submerged in water, boiling them to generate steam pressure reaching 215 psi. From these boilers, an intense surge of energy began its journey through the ship's heart, the triple expansion steam engine system. This was a marvel of mechanical engineering for its time. Observe the 4 massive cylinders lined in a row, where steam was utilized down to its final drop. First, high pressure steam pushed the smallest piston, then, instead of being exhausted, it was channeled into an intermediate pressure cylinder, and finally into 2 much larger low pressure cylinders. Reusing the steam 3 times was not merely a lesson in the law of conservation of energy, but a method of optimizing residual pressure to generate the most formidable thrust possible. However, the true secret that made the Titanic the pinnacle of technology lay in its unique hybrid system. Sandwiched between the two giant reciprocating engines was a low-minus pressure turbine. When the steam became too weak to move the heavy pistons, it was not yet discarded. All of that exhaust steam was collected and directed into this turbine to harness the final remnants of energy, spinning the 4-bladed central propeller. The rhythmic harmony between the reciprocating motion of the pistons and the rotation of the turbine created a perfect mechanical symphony, propelling the 40-6-1000- vessel across the sea with a pride unprecedented in human history. Close your eyes and imagine standing in the heart of the Titanic, where the mechanical pulse never falters. The story of energy begins with hands stained by coal dust and the rhythmic clang of shovels hitting the metal floor. Block after block of black coal is cast into the glowing mouths of the furnaces, releasing immense thermal energy to heat the great boilers. Here, water begins its transformation, turning into powerful streams of high-minus pressure steam. This steam surges forward like a wild beast, charging into the first cylinder and driving the piston down with unyielding force. But this is only the beginning of a journey of total efficiency. As the steam begins to weaken, it is not discarded. Instead, it is channeled into the next cylinder, which is significantly larger in size. By a pure law of physics, as pressure drops, a larger surface area helps maintain an equivalent thrust, ensuring that not a single drop of energy is wasted. Finally, truly exhausted after these rigorous cycles, the vapor is fed into the Parsons turbine to wring out the last vestiges of its power before condensing back into water, ready for a new cycle to begin. Yet, within this very grandeur and bulk lies a cruel paradox. When the captain ordered full speed ace turn to avoid the iceberg, the entire massive system could not respond instantaneously. Hundreds of tons of steel moving at high velocity created a formidable inertia, resulting in a fatal mechanical delay. To reverse the rotation of those colossal crankshafts, the machine needed time to breathe, to pause, and to brace itself against its own forward momentum. In those life, minus and minus death moments, amidst the freezing ocean, the magnificence of steam engineering became a slow minus moving shackle, leaving the proud ship unable to turn in time before its appointed destiny. As the final rotations of the propeller shafts faded into silence within the deep ocean, the Titanic left behind more than just a human tragedy. It marked the proud conclusion of a magnificent chapter in history. It stood as the ultimate pinnacle, the most brilliant farewell of the reciprocating steam era, before yielding to the powerful ascent of diesel engines and pure turbines. Those colossal masses of steel pushed the limits of materials in contemporary engine, nearing to their absolute extremes, becoming an eternal lesson in the balance between the ambition to conquer and the harsh laws of nature. Yet, the legacy of the Titanic does not remain at the dark bottom of the sea. Amidst decaying wreckage, the sophisticated principles of waste heat recovery, the way engineers harnessed every final stream of exhaust steam to drive the low-minus pressure turbines survive silently within the heartbeat of the modern world. This very concept forms the core foundation for heat recovery systems in today's most advanced power plants, where energy is reclaimed to serve human life. That massive engine may have stopped running, but the intellect of those who created it continues to warm the world in its own unique way. In the stillness of this space, let us look back at the great pistons and the roaring furnaces that were once the pride of an entire generation. If you had the chance to travel back in time and alter a single technical detail within the Titanic's engine room to prevent the tragedy, what would you choose? Please leave your thoughts in the comments so we can discuss them together. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel to continue dissecting and exploring more legendary machines with me. For now, let the breath of the ocean lull you into a peaceful sleep.